if somebody is doing the organic route and they want to stay organic or all natural when doing the cloning process, what's your suggestion for them?
So, on the little comment on teas, I love teas. Any sort of microbial activity that you could introduce to the root zone, I am all about it 100%. Um, when it comes to matching the mother stock food, the purpose of that, the theory is you maintain the same growth and color and vigor that you would expect out of that feed from your mom stock. So you don't ever change colors on your clones. You don't ever have any sort of deficiencies. Now that's with traditional bottled nutrients or bagged nutrients that you could essentially mix and feed directly to your root zone. With dry amendments and organics, you're creating this live root zone in your mother stock, right? And you're amending that soil. Those amendments are slowly unlocking or quickly unlocking and becoming bioavailable for your roots to uptake into your plant stock. Giving you that vigorous growth off of for your mother stock. Most cloning is done in plugs, be it cocoa plugs, rockwool plugs, whatever sort of rooting plugs, essentially smaller rooting size medium. Now those are inert, aka there's no nutrient activity, no microbial activity in that media. So it's up to us to add that. Obviously, you can't just top dress amend, some rooting plugs. So people are like, so how do I do it? So it's kind of twofold and agreed. There's a couple ways to think about it. You could I've suggested this to clients where they're like, my mom stock is as healthy as I could ever want it to be. My amendments are on point, all that good stuff. But my clones, what do I do? I've even suggested taking some of that same soil mix from your mom stock and compressing that into a 50 cell tray or a celled tray and rooting your rooting your clones in that soil mix, same as your mom stock, because that allows the same nutrient uptake that you were expecting, that you already have dialed in. Once they take on roots, they're going to be feeding the exact same thing they were feeding from their mom stock. Now, it's going to be a compressed loose soil, so it won't retain its shape as well before it's fully rooted. Little nuances like that. But if you wait till it's fully rooted, you're going to pull out that clone and it's going to be vibrant and it's going to be enough to transplant, no problem. Microbial teas, compost teas, anything like that, worm casting teas, those are all super beneficial. I would highly recommend to soak that regardless if you're using bottled nutrients or this soil mix from your mom stock, to feed that into to soak that into your rooting media as well. You're going to get nothing but benefits from it, unlocking nitrogen, protecting against pathogens, an abundance of beneficial activity happening there for you. If you were just using rooting media, standard rooting media, and you didn't take a soil sample to root into, at the bare minimum, once again, using a compost tea is going to create some sort of activity. What you may suffer, you'll get them to root, because rooting and nutrient uptake and color is kind of two different separate areas. So you could get the clone to root with the proper procedures, the proper environment, enough humidity to retain it, slowly reduce humidity to encourage root growth. What you may suffer is the discoloration or the nutrient deficiency in your growth, in your clone, material up top. So if at the bare minimum, all you could do is you do a microbial drench, you'll get them to root, but you may have to transplant quickly and have a little delay in that nutrient uptake again if you aren't using that same sample. So there's a couple different ways to look at it, and depends on your kind of grace as far as what you expect out of your clones. If you have no room for any sort of error, any sort of bounce back or anything like that, then I'd probably get the soil sample. If you're doing 50, 100 more clones, probably going to go to the plugs, probably going to do the compost tea, and you probably can't dry amendment or use a soil sample, so you could get them to root quickly, or as soon as you get them root, transplant them and just give them a week or so to start uptaking the nutrients from your soil mix that you got there. So a couple ways to think about it, but it's possible with what you're working with.
Are any of the rooting hormone products on the market today considered organic?
No. Simple answer is no. IBA, which is indole 3 butyric acid, there is a IAA, if I'm not mistaken, is a naturally occurring hormone within the plant. So this is close as an organic, naturally occurring hormone chemically possible, but since it's man-made, it's that one change in the chemistry there. But IBA is the closest thing to what's naturally occurring in your plant. Some other things like honey, aloe, things like that may have some characteristics that will aid in rooting kind of in a secondary fashion. Say, honey may have some antimicrobial properties that'll help prevent against any sort of pathogens, which in turn will allow the plant to root without being overtaken by pathogens and just losing or not rooting due to the pathogen pressure or anything like that. So it may be kind of secondary actions, but they're not rooting hormones, right? So it's kind of a little bit of chemistry and naturally occurring products can aid, but they can't be like listed as like rooting hormones, but they could aid in just like reducing stressors, protecting against pathogens. And if the procedures are right and your stock is super vibrant and healthy, that could be enough to get you through the rooting process.
I'm glad you brought up honey and aloe. Actually, the honey was one of the questions that viewers have left in the past. Does honey actually work? Another thing that somebody had left was, what are your thoughts on cinnamon as a rooting compound?
I almost said cinnamon too. Once again, those are like natural ingredients that are great for organic gardening and do have beneficial properties. That, if you use cinnamon, say for, pest control, for, antimicrobial properties, things like that, you're going to get some natural benefits, right? Now, if you did like a side-by-side and say which rooted better, I'd probably put my money on the rooting hormone because that's its sole purpose. That's the only thing it's going to do for that plant. So, you could go super natural, super organic, but you probably won't be on a commercial scale or say, hey, I'm hitting my dates every time, very predictable. As most people know, if they're growing in living soil or using amendments, it's not sharp turns like a speedboat, right? Where quick adjustments and quick results. It's more of a cruise ship. It's, slow and steady. They break down. You're not going for speed, right? You're just going for health and organic inputs.
This clip is brought to you by VivoSun. Use discount code MrGrow15 to save on any of their gardening products. Go to the full episode by clicking the outro card here, or click the link in the description section below. Catch you in the next video.